Hey guys, it's Jason here, and I just got a couple things to say in my mind. Uh, let's see. Today has been a really odd day. Like there's just so many things I want to talk about on my mind. Yeah, today it's been a really odd day. Like first, 12 showed up at my house, and for those who don't know what 12 is our slang term for police. Also, we have other slang terms like ops or popo, and basically what 12 means is it's a code for what police use. They're like, oh, 1012 coming in, we got a homicide or whatever. That's basically what it means. And then people pick it up and they're like, oh, 12's here. So literally what happened was, hold up, give me a minute, because I'm kind of a little excited. I'm saving the best for last because there's actually two things that happened today, and today has just been like a really weird day. Okay, so what happened is, I'm sitting down doing my pre-calc, so I was like, okay, whatever, calculating, doing pre-calc stuff, doing infinite geometric sequences, and then all of a sudden, I look outside my window, and I'm like, okay, whatever, cops in front of my house. So yeah, the 12, the ops, the popo in front of my house. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then like, let's see, 20 minutes go by, and they're like, they're still there, they're still in front of my house. So I'm like, oh geez, what the heck did I do? And then my dad shows up in my room and he's like, oh, Jason, did you do anything wrong? And I was like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. He was like, because in front of our house, what do you think you did? And I was like, I didn't do anything, to be honest. I'm a good boy. I don't break the law. I don't drive above the speed limit. Well, sometimes I do, but that's just because I'm in a rush and I never manage my time. And he's like, oh, he made a joke about it. He's like, oh, you should go talk to the police or whatever. And I'm like, I'm good. I got homework. So at first I thought they're like, oh, they found out like what I just did earlier in the day. And for my parents watching this, you're probably gonna hate me. But literally today, I was at a stop. We were at a traffic light signal, and like everyone was like stuck. Like there was like a car that was like wedged between two lanes. And I was like, and everyone was going around it, so I'm like, okay, I'm assuming that the light is green. So I go around it, turns out the light was red, so I was like, oh, my like flight or fight instincts like kicking, my adrenaline kicks in, and I'm like, oh gee, should I stop or should I go? So ultimately, me being an idiot, I basically gun it. I'm like I'm gone, and I'm like, and then I literally like once I get to the other side, I'm like, holy crap, I just ran a red light, which has never happened to me. Well, I think a couple of times it did, but I'm usually not aware of it. But this time I was aware of it, so I was like, holy crap, I ran a red light. So when the police showed up, like when the cop car showed up like in front of my house, I thought, oh geez, he probably figured out something. So I'm like, I close my windows. Sorry for stuttering. I'm just like a little excited right now. And I just got out of the shower, so like my hair's all kind of messed up and it's like all wet or whatever. So the police car is like there, so I close the blinds, I close all the curtains and stuff like that. So I'm assuming, oh geez, the cops must be spying on me or what type of stuff, because the whole terrorist mass shooting ordeal. And so I close the curtains and I'm just like sitting there doing my homework. So I'm like, okay, let me mind my business. Let me not search up anything suspicious on my computer, because I bet they probably can spy on that too. Which I'm assuming they already do, but like I really don't care. But like when the police is showing up at your house, you try to make yourself less conspicuous than you are. So I'm just sitting down doing my homework. I like peep out the window like 2 or 3 more times. Police are still right there in front of my house. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm like, at this point, I'm just like ready to flip out. And then all of a sudden, I look outside, and they're finally gone. So I was like, yes! They didn't find out that I ran the red light. So they're gone, and that's just one of the highlights of my days. I guess this is a small highlight of my day, so I usually don't tend to talk about this because I tend to keep it a secret, but I do take karate. I usually tend to keep that on like the down low, so I'm not sure why I'm talking about this, but it's going to be part of the video anyway. So if you guys want to see some moves, head down to the karate place. It's by Slice. Yeah, it would be with Slices, and then like upstairs would be the dance center place where all my friends go. Like my friends like Sophia, Rachel, Callie, all the good-looking, flexible girls upstairs. Yeah. And then, there's me downstairs, like, attempting to try to be flexible, and it's just not happening. So anyways, we were practicing crescent kicks. And Mr. Bateman, which is one of the black belts at the place, he busts out a chair, and he was like, here's a chair. And I'm like, okay, what the heck is going on? He was like, do you remember crescent kicks? I'm like, but wait, we haven't gone over crescent kicks. And yeah, we haven't gone over crescent kicks. And he was like, oh, you should remember. I was like, wait, what the heck is going on? So he was like, I got a chair, but you're not going to sit on it. I'm like, well, that's pretty obvious. Since when have you ever sat in karate besides, like, a whole meditating at the end? So he was like, you're going to do some crescent kicks. I was like, okay, we haven't really gone over this. So I go to do a couple of crescent kicks, and he was like, oh, let Jason demonstrate. So I was like, I'm doing my crescent kicks, and all of a sudden, I think it was on the third or fourth crescent kick. It was either a crescent kick or a reverse crescent kick. Like, one goes in one direction, the other goes in the other direction. So, like, again, if you want to know, head down to the Utica Karate place, Northern Goju. I think the address is like 2007 Genesee Street or something like that. Yeah, so for anybody who wants to sign up, that's where you go to talk to my sensei, Sensei Rosa. He'll hook you up with some pretty good lessons that you'll need later in life. Just when you need to defend yourself and the government wants to turn on you and says, and Donald Trump is like, let's get rid of the First Amendment because, like, everyone's talking crap about me. And you would probably need some martial arts to defend yourself against martial law. Anyways, I was on my, what was it, fourth or fifth? I don't remember, to be honest. I haven't really been keeping track of how many kicks I do in karate. So anyways, I'm demonstrating, and all of a sudden, like, I misplaced my foot, and it, like, my, like, heel hits the chair, and all I hear is this loud thud, and the chair falls to the floor, and everyone was like, and then Mr. Bateman was like, ooh, ow, that hurts. And I was like, yeah, it hurts. He was like, so you should get your knee up more and, like, in a better position. I'm not really sure how he said it, but, like, he basically just said, you gotta keep your knees and your heel kind of, like, in the same position. Too far off, or, like, even slightly off, and, like, you'll mess up the technique. So, yeah, I hit my heel on the freaking chair 3 times. You would think that would hurt. It does. It still hurts. Like, I can barely feel it, but it still hurts. Okay, on to the third thing. Now, you're probably gonna wonder, what the heck is this third thing? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys a quick question. Have you ever been confronted by Mormon missionaries? Or if you have, when's the last time you've been confronted by Mormon missionaries? Like, literally, this was, like, out of the blue. So anyways, how to start this off? Jeez, like, my heart is pumping right now because I'm getting really excited. Oh, wait. Before I do that, if you guys don't believe that 12 showed up to my house, here's a picture on my Snap. Yeah, there's the police in front of my house. So, anyways, so I'm walking down. I'm getting out of karate, Mr. Bateman and we, like, part ways. We say our goodbyes and whatever. So I'm just walking down the street. I got my phone on me. I'm listening to, like, what was I listening to? I think I was listening to, like, T. Wayne or something like that. I was either listening to T. Wayne or Lil Yachty or whatever, because I'm like, I gotta have some music on the way, because that's what, like, it gets me pumping. So I'm, like, listening to my usual trap music, and all of a sudden I see these 2 ladies down the street, and they're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, well, gee, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm like, who the heck are these people? So I'm thinking, oh, they must be the girls from the dance center place. So I'm like, oh, hey, come over here. So I go to give him a hug. He was like, we'll settle for a handshake. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess you're not the hugging type. So I'm like, okay, maybe, Rachel's got a girlfriend. No, not girlfriend, boyfriend. What the hell am I saying? Sorry for the language. So, yeah, what the heck am I saying? So, because Rachel has, like, a whole boyfriend. And I really don't want to talk about it because that's kind of her business. And you probably don't want to know how I know that. I just know who the couples are. So I'm here thinking like, okay, I probably shouldn't hug Rachel because she has a boyfriend. There we go. Every time I try to say boyfriend, I end up saying girlfriend, making her look like she's lesbian. But she's not. Rachel, if you're watching this, I'm trying not to offend you, but like, it's just too much going on in my head right now. So anyways, I'm talking to these ladies. Well, the ladies were talking to me, so like, oh, do you believe in God or whatever? I'm like, oh no. These are like some type of Jehovah's Witness type of people. So I'm like, oh geez, I have to listen. I just have to listen. So they're like talking about God or whatever. I was like, do you believe in God? Do you pray or whatever? I'm like, and then they're like, oh, what's your religion or whatever? So I'm like, I don't pray. So I say, I don't pray at all. And they're like, do you have a religion? I'm like, well, gee, I'm atheist. You know, I'm a science person. And, you know, science runs the universe. For any science teachers who are watching this, like some of my science teachers I had from a really long time, like Mr. Boyd, Mrs. Mazer, and sorry, Mrs. Mazer, but I didn't want to be an AP Chem because I knew I was going to slack off, and Mr. Levine, who's a really awesome physics teacher, but I don't pay attention in his class whatsoever, and that's why it's so hard for me. And you know, all the math people I had a couple people, I don't remember. I remember Mrs. Donato, my geometry teacher, and then I had a teacher twice, Mrs. Geruzzi. I had her for trig, almost bombed trig because like I never paid attention in that class. I remember one time I had like a 63 or a 68 in that class. It was like the third marking period. I'm like, oh geez. And today I have her for pre-calc. This year, the year is almost over, so yeah, I have her for pre-calc. So anyways, so for any teachers watching this, yeah, you know, I'm a math person, you know, I know that the universe is governed by the laws of physics, you know, it is governed by math, because the math is used to back up the laws of physics, you know, the laws of nature, you know, the laws of conservation of, I say conservation, you know, whatever. Sorry, you know, the law of conservation. There we go. I got it. Nailed it. Law of conservation. Yeah, there we go. The law of conservation or whatever. You know, I believe in that type of stuff because I'm a science person. I've been learning about science since I was a little kid. I've been drawn to science. I remember once I wanted to be like Einstein. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is that, like, you know, I'm saying to them, I'm atheist. You know, I don't believe in a God. I don't think a God exists. If a God exists, I probably would be getting the stuff that I wanted for a really long time. Like, I wouldn't have to wait this long to get a phone. I probably would have a girlfriend right now, or, you know, we'd probably be rich. I'd probably be taller. I'd probably have abs, you know, but actually, you know what? I could get abs on myself, but I just choose not to because I'm super lazy and I don't like going to the gym. So that one's on me. And you know, I'm like, I don't believe in a God because, like, just where is he? I want proof. If there's a God, please point me in the direction, and don't say Jesus grave, because Jesus is not God. He's actually a real person. God is not a real person. God is a sorry, let me gather my thoughts. God is a invention made by man a long time ago to explain the things that man didn't know back then. Now that we have science, there really is no need for religion. I mean, think about it. Sure, there are stuff that we don't know, like, what the heck is the rest of the universe made of, you know, because it's like 70% dark matter, dark energy, what the heck is it? But, you know, I believe that science will figure it out. You know, there's no need for a God anymore. I think, like, religion is just the thing to keep people under control. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, if you're religious, you know, shout out to my religious people, but, like, I don't believe that religion is really necessary anymore. It's more of an obsolete item that should be left in the past. But anyways, the point here is not to, you know, draw you away from religion. The point here is like just to say that, you know, I'm not a religious person. So, you know, we're just talking about, you know, whatever. And they're like, oh, we're Mormon missionaries. And I'm like, I'm sorry, back up what? I'm like, back up. Back up. You guys are what? And they're like, like Mormon missionaries. And I'm like, this is not happening. This is not happening. I must have like hit my head or something. Mr. Bateman must have hit me he must have hit my head so hard that I must be like seeing this right now. Like I must have like some type of weird, creepy concussion somehow. So they're like, oh, like, okay, so they say what's your religion? Okay, I'm trying to backtrack through the conversation that we had. Because, like, I already made a weird impression by attempting to hug them because I thought they were from the dance center, and they're like, they're not. They look like full-grown women. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Let me talk to them. I could spare some time. So they're like, oh, what's the closest thing you've come to a prayer? And I'm like, it wasn't really a prayer. It was more like I had a dream. Like, when I was a kid, I used to have these really weird dreams where there was a person like standing right about there-ish. I would have like some sort of panic attack. I'm not sure. There was like a technical name for it where like you see something, like you think you see something, but it's not there, and you like can't move, like, and you're trying to scream. You're just like, So yeah, that's a bit into my childhood. I used to be scared of a lot of things because I watched way too many scary movies, and I should probably just stick to like Teletubbies and SpongeBob. But no, my spark brain had to watch The Grudge, Jeepers Creepers, what else? Saw, Freddy vs. Jason. You know, all the scary movies that would be relegated to the adult world. So go me. So anyways, they're like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Have you taken a moment to say that, like, you know, I need a prayer or whatever? So I'm like, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm just more like, please, go away. Like, I never really, like, I don't know, I never really asked that sort of question. So they're like, oh, you know, you should, I think there was a guy out there that was like, okay, I get that you're trying to like convert me or whatever, but like, I'm gonna stay atheist. So then, like, they go into a little bit more about me, and they look at my jacket because I have like a swim jacket. Hold on, let me get it. Right here. So I'm wearing my swim jacket because like I thought it was gonna rain and it was kind of cold, which actually it wasn't. So you know they're talking about my jacket and they're like, oh, you swim, right? And I'm like, yeah, I swim. I go to Proctor High School. So hold on, let me put this away because I don't really need this anymore. So they're talking about me in high school. They're like, oh, what do you like? How does swimming work? Like, what do you like about swimming? I was like, okay, whatever. It builds up teamwork. You have to know how to coordinate with your team. You have to know the techniques in order to like swim properly. You know, like all of that factored in together makes for a really good swim team. And just a little FYI, sorry swim team, but I'm gonna say to the whole world that we haven't won a match in like 5 years. So the whole world gets to hear that we are the suckiest swim team on the planet. But you know what? We had a good time being the suckiest team on the planet. So shout out to my swim bros, for anyone that's watching. So, you know, I'm just talking about like what I do on the swim team. They're like, oh, like, are you like a junior or a senior? I'm like, yeah, I'm a senior. I like graduate in like 1.5 more months. I almost said years. What the heck? Like, I'm a senior. Like, come on now. So I said, like, you know, I got 1.5 more months left before I graduate, get my advanced Regents diploma, walk into Stanley. Originally, I was supposed to be the Utica Auditorium, but then they changed it. Like, come on, you couldn't, like, renovate earlier? Like, there's gonna be, like, they'll literally, like, talks about, like, people flying from, like, other countries to go see their, like, kids, like, graduation ceremony, and now they have to cramp into the Stanley, and you can only bring, like, 3 people. Like, come on. What the heck? couldn't do the renovations earlier. But then again, Utica, we be like slacking, we're lacking in certain areas. So that's Utica in a nutshell. So anyways, they were talking about what I do on the swim team. We went through what I was going to do when I go to college. They're like, oh, what college are you going to? And I said, I'm going to Utica College. I was going to plan on going to another college, but, you know, the financial aid package was kind of... And it was one of my favorite schools, too, so I was like, dang, I'm kind of bummed. So they're like, oh, what are you going to do in Utica College? So I was like, I'm going to swim because, you know, that's like my passion. It was a passion I picked up when I was little, and I was doing swimming classes because my parents wanted me to swim and get out the house more because, let's just face it, I'm an insider person. I like being in my room. It's my comfort. I love it in my room. It's so amazing. Yeah, so they're like, oh, that's good. That's a good passion that you have. So I'm like, yeah, cool. And then they're like, they whip out like this pamphlet. So I'm like, yo, if they take out a gun, I'm dipping. Like if they take out some type of like Makarov pistol or a Glock, I am dipping. But instead you're like, you know, because like they're strangers, you can't trust strangers. Like especially one that like comes up to me like, hey, I'm a Mormon missionary, I'm trying to convert you. So they pull out this pamphlet. And I'm just like, okay, now you guys are really attempting to convert me. It's not happening. I'm not religious. Please stop. You might as well just stop yourself and say, like, you know, whatever. Like, you know, I'm sorry, you're not religious. Like, we'll go move on to another person. But they insisted because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be nice about it. I'm a nice person. Let me hear them out. So they give me one of these. The restoration of Jesus, the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm like legit trying to read this right now, but it's like sort of backwards. So, and they gave me the number on the back, and they're like, oh, you should call us. Like, you know, you should look in the book, maybe attempt to pray if you know how to pray. I'm like, yeah, I know how to pray. I'm like technically Buddhist by family. Because I'm, you know, Asian. Actually, I'm not trying to make a stereotype, but, like, my parents are Asian. Oh, wait, what am I trying to say? No, my parents are Buddhist. I'm not trying to, like, throw any type of stereotypes out there, but, like, my parents are Buddhist. I wouldn't say hardline Buddhist. Maybe my mom, I don't know, because she's kind of religious. I remember one time I pissed her off, and she was like, oh, did God cut off your tongue? Whatever. I'm like, I don't believe in a God. But anyways, moving past that, you know, my parents are religious in a way. And, you know, we're Buddhists. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I know how to pray in a Buddhist type of way, but I really don't pay attention to it. Like, it really has no meaning to me. I'm just there to do it so I can please my parents. Literally, I literally could just walk them to them and say, no, I'm not going to the Buddhist temple. I'm going to stay home because what's the use? Like, I'm not a religious person. Is what I'm trying to say. So again, they give me this book, and they're like, you should look through it. You should look through it, you know, you should attempt to pray. And I'm like, how am I going to pray when I don't have a Bible? And like, you know, and they're saying like, oh, you know, if you have any questions, I'm gonna, like, you could just like text us or call us or go to a website or whatever. I'm like, you know, it's got a name and phone number about it. And then I made some sort of joke about it, I guess. Because I basically treated this like as a joke because I'm like, you know, I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, what the heck are these two girls trying to do? Like, these two ladies. And I'm like, well, you've got your number, but you don't have your name on there. And she was like, oh, you could be one. I'm like, you know, I'm good. You know, it's whatever. You know, we got the number, but no name. So, like, I attempted to make it into, like, a joke or whatever because, like, you know, at this point I'm kind of, like, freaked out. Because I'm like, these two strangers are trying to like convert me to like to do some type of religious type of stuff. And so they're like, oh, okay, you know, whenever like you want to talk to us or whenever just meet us down by the church or at least attempt to pray and like whatever you think, call the phone number or visit the website or something like that. I don't remember. And then I was like, oh, okay, you know, it's nice meeting you or whatever. And I was like, oh, you know what, sorry. I was like, sorry that I like attempted to hug you, even though that was like kind of an inappropriate thing. Jeez. You would think that after 11th grade I would know better because, okay, here's a little fun fact about me. In 11th grade, I was obsessed with trying to get a girlfriend. Like, literally, I was on my friend's, like, behind every single day. And I'm like, please ask me out. Please ask me out. I'd like to be together. And I'm just, like, constantly on her behind about it. I was, one of my friends, Amina, she just got a license a couple days ago. So, congrats to Amina. Congrats to getting your license because, another little fun fact, I almost failed my road test because the guy told me to turn left. I turned right, and he looked at me with the most stoic face expressions ever. He was like, "Don't do that again." And I was like, "Okay, it's cool. Just don't fail me, because you know my parents are gonna be pissed." So anyway, so I was like, "Oh, you know, sorry for attempting to hug you because like that was kind of inappropriate." And wait, I didn't finish the story about Amina. Okay, so Amina, if you're watching this, you get to peer a little bit back into the past in a chemistry class. Remember when I was, you know, on your behind every day? I was being overly, like, excessively nice. I'm trying not to stutter here, but like it's just really cringy, and I don't want to talk about it, like ever, because you know you got a boyfriend, Trey, and if Trey's watching this, you're probably gonna get mad because you know I tried to get at your girl before even you did. So you know, in my chemistry class, I was like, oh, she's a pretty nice girl. Let me try to get at her because you know that's just the stupid mindset I have. Nice girl equals let me get at her, and like attempt to be like her boyfriend. And I was like, I don't know, I was doing some type of weird stuff, trying to make her jealous or whatever, try to like do all sorts of stuff to try to make her like accept me and go out with me. I even asked her to like, what was it? I think like I attempted to ask her to prom, like yeah, junior prom, and then like I backed out of it and I was like, that probably isn't a good idea. And she was like, oh, you should have gone, you know, you should have asked me, you know, I bought a dress and now I have nothing to use it for. And I'm like, well, hey, look on the bright side, this year you got Killen. But then again, why Killen? Why? I mean, like, you're like this tall and she's like this tall. And I'm like, it makes you look like an adulthood. That's just what I think. So yeah, for anybody watching, I was a bit of a girlfriend go-getter type of person until like the beginning of 12th grade. I was like, okay, let me focus on college, let me get rid of that girl stuff, and like, you know, let me focus on my future. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Hold up, I was about to sneeze. Never mind, I'm not gonna sneeze. You know, allergy season, man. It's gonna get to you. No matter where you are on the planet, it's gonna get to you. Okay, so I was like, okay, I'm sorry for attempting to like, you know, hug and embrace you. Cause like I thought you were the girls from dance center, but you're not. Cause you got these name tags, and I'm like, why do you have name tags? And then I literally just figured it out when I like read it, sort of, cause I was like squinting. I was like, I can't see without my glasses. And hold up. Let me just like calm myself down, so I can like gather my thoughts. Okay, so and then I was like, you're not the girls from dance center, because you kind of like, one of the girls reminded me of Rachel Dolly. She's this one girl I know from dance center. She goes to New Hartford Senior High School, which is literally not that far from the place I used to go for like dentist type of stuff. Like when I go to check up my teeth, like the high school isn't literally that far. We faced them this year in swimming, and they like kicked our butts. Like we just got like our butts handed to them. They are really good. So anyways, I was like, oh, you remind me of Rachel. And then she was like, oh, when I was a child, like I was reminded, like people said that I was reminded of like so many Rachels. I think I should just change my name to Rachel. I'm like, yeah, you should keep your name. You know, be unique. And so, anyways, like they're like, oh, nice meeting you, whatever. I'm sister whatever and sister whatever. At this point, I couldn't remember their names because like they're just all scrambled to the back of my mind, and like it's just like it's gone. I can't remember their names anymore. So like, sister one, sister two. And I'm like, oh, geez, you really are Mormon missionaries because like you like adopted the title sister. So I'm like, so wait, quick question. Since I'm not really like religious and into the Mormon thing because like it's just kind of weird. Like literally, Mr. Allen, my AP US history teacher, he did a whole lesson on Mormons. He was like, oh, a long time ago they practiced polygamy or whatever, you know. And I'm thinking, let me keep that to the back of my mind in order to not piss off these ladies because they're actually like kind of nice and whatever. So I'm like, you know, I'm kind of freaked out because of that prior knowledge I got from AP US. Thanks, Mr. Allen, for like freaking me out. And so, anyways, they're like, you know, it's nice meeting you, sister one, I'm sister one, I'm sister two, and whatever. I'm like shaking hands. And then like as soon as they were about to go, I was like, oh wait. Before you go, let me take a snap of you both. And they're like, okay, whatever. And I was like, yeah, it does sound kind of weird. So I was like, you know, hey, getting close so we can get like a picture together. So I can prove that to you, like to the whole world that you exist. Like Mormon missionaries like exist because, well, obviously they would exist in New York because like the whole Mormon faith actually like it was originated in New York. I think it was like they made their establishment around like the 1840s. It was near the Waterloo. What was it? It was that Waterloo Outlet Mall. Yeah, it was like near that area that they made their first establishment, and they're like, oh, let's come up with a new idea of Christianity. Let's call it the Book of Mormon. So anyways, I was like, you know, let me take a picture. They're like, oh, you should flip your phone sideways. I was like, wait, sideways. So literally they told me to like hold the phone sideways, but I kept holding it like vertically. So I'm like, gee, I just made like a really huge like weird impression on these ladies. Cause I'm like, you know, I'm like freaked out, but I'm really excited at the same time. Cause I'm like, holy crap, I can prove to the entire world that Mormon missionaries really exist. And I just met like my first couple today. Not just one Mormon missionary, but two, double the price. So they're like, oh, you know, like scrunch. I was like, oh, just scooching a little bit closer. So it's like, you know, it's getting kind of weird. And I'm like, okay, I'm just holding on my, like I literally had to stretch my hands because I'm like, oh, gee, thanks, Mr. Bateman, for like stretching out my hands to the point where I really can't move it now. So I'm like, okay, 1, 2, cheese. And then like, you know, I snap the picture and they're like, oh, okay, you know, it's been nice meeting you. Bye. You know, at least attempt to pray, which sadly I'm not going to do because I'm not religious. You can't force a person to be religious. You know, it's not the Middle East where like everyone has to be like Muslim. That's just how it works in the Middle East. I'm not trying to like be like racist or stereotypical or anything, but that's just the sad reality. Like in the Middle East, you have to force you, like they literally force you to be one religion, to practice one religion, and that is Islam, and you have to be Muslim, or else literally they cut your head off, or they persecute you. They literally kick you out of the country. That's just a sad reality. So anyways, for anyone who wants proof, well, actually, yeah, I'm just going to show you the proof anyways, that like I took the snap. These are the two ladies I met at like literally we were at the corner of a street, which made it even more weird. It was at the corner of a street and it was super dark out. Oh gee, that's like a notification. So we were at the corner of a street and it was super dark out. So you're probably thinking, yeah, this is pretty weird. I'm like, yeah, I know. So one last look. There's me, like right there. That's me like right there. Ew, look how ugly I am, I know. And then there's the two ladies. And then the one in the middle was the girl that like the first girl that said hi. And it was like, oh, that's the girl where I said like, oh, you remind me of Rachel or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. So that's all I want to say. I actually might do a blog. No, vlog. What's the difference anymore? So I'm just gonna say vlog. So yeah, I might actually do a vlog in school. I might not make. I told you I might not make Life is Strange videos for a while because I've noticed that they've not been getting many views, and that's partly due to the fact they've been very long. I'm sorry, but like when I play like games like these that are like very interactive, I try to explore every aspect of the game, or else nothing just makes sense at all. So I try to give you anything and everything, courtesy of me. So my apologies that the videos are like close to like an hour long. There's like 2 videos to like each part. So again, my apologies, but I have to explore every aspect of the game. So for anyone who hasn't watched my videos yet, please go watch them. It would actually mean the world to me because like I'm trying to build up my YouTube fan base since I kind of stopped playing Xbox because like, when was it? It was either February or March. I think it was February. Because I ran out of Xbox Live, so I'm like, gee, what the heck am I going to do? So I took up to YouTubing again. Wow. That voice crack though. Jeez, my throat is getting super dry right now. Yeah, my excitement level went from here to... And that's probably because I only get like 4 hours of sleep, to be honest. So, yeah. My whole day has been out of whack today. And I'm just going to tell everybody about this. About this whole Book of Mormon. Well, it isn't actually a Book of Mormon. It's more of a pamphlet. Jesus holding that goat. That Rich the Kid. That Rich Forever 3. That Kanye West. That Kendrick Lamar. That Migos. That Lil Yachty fire. The Big Sean fire. You know what? Let me shut up. I'm sorry. I'm like a guy, like literally. I wanna actually say something else before I like end this video because like I'm actually getting pretty tired. Like literally, like I was walking down and I was like, yeah, I think I told you this, but like I was listening to like trap music. I was listening to like straight up trap music, and I think the girls can hear it. They're like, "Oh hey, what's up?" And I'm like, oh, "Crap, I should probably turn off my phone." I was like, "Okay, let me like turn off my phone or whatever." And I was like, I neglected to turn off my phone, so all they can hear is a whole bunch of like swearing or whatever. Like all they hear is a song about guns, violence, and girls and drugs or whatever. So I'm like, they're probably thinking in their mind, this person has a lot of sin in their life. And I'm like, I don't really believe in sin. But if that's what they're thinking, I mean, that's what they're thinking. I mean, it's America. You can think of whatever, right? Unless Donald Trump tries to get rid of the First Amendment, which probably isn't going to happen anytime soon because it's embedded in the Constitution. So, yeah. That's a bit about my crazy day today. And it is 10 o'clock in the evening right now. So, I'm going to end this video right here. I might, because of my friend, she wanted me to go ahead with the vlog in school, so I actually might do it. It might not be super long, like this video is going to be. So I'm just going to end it here. So like and subscribe, comment down below about what you think about Mormon missionaries and if you ever met any before, or even if you want to talk about my Life is Strange videos or your encounter with police surveillance, because literally I like was doing homework and like the police literally showed up to my house. They like just like parked themselves and made themselves cozy there, probably eating their donuts and drinking their coffee, like looking at my window thinking, oh geez, we're gonna catch another teenager delinquent today. And I'm like, yeah, no, not happening. So yeah, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean so much to me. And yeah, that's it. I think that's it here. Okay, peace out. I'm gonna go sleep. I'm sorry, I'm way too tired.